What's going on, y'all? It's NBA skills coach Drew Hanlon, and welcome to episode 1 of my 10-part film study on Michael Jordan. I'm calling it the Micro Skills series because I'm going to be breaking down the skills within the skills, the little details and nuances that made Michael so special. Tonight, I'm going to take you guys through his best mid-range and separation moves that made him unguardable in that area. We're going to start out with his fadeaway. Everyone knows that Michael patented the fadeaway jump shot, and he won so many games with the fadeaway, but a lot of people don't know the little details and nuances that made his fadeaway so unguardable. So as you guys can see, he's able to elevate over his defenders, get to spots and then just knock down the J, but there are a ton of different things that went into him getting separation and ultimately making the shots. So I'm going to rewind back the film real quick so that we can break down kind of the little nuggets, little nuances that made his fadeaway unguardable. The first thing you'll notice is he uses long lunges. The long lunge not only gets the defender to open up, but it also gets him to an advantageous spot on the court. So right now, that long lunge, drop the defender. You see the defender opens up their stance, and then MJ is able to quickly get that other foot around. So a lot of players don't have the ability to get that, foot set. They get both feet down, and then you can see MJ gets the ball up quick to his shot pocket, reclines back, and then knocks down the fade. On this clip right here, you can see how quickly the ball gets up. A lot of players do not get the ball over their head, and that's something that MJ excelled in. He really got the ball up quickly and then was able to get it to his shot pocket in a hurry so that defenders really had no chance. So again, that long lunge got the defender to drop, so you can see how long this lunge is. Defender drops. He quickly gets his other foot around so he can get on balance. He gets the ball up over his head, so elbows under the ball, gets the ball to his shot pocket, and then reclines back and just knocks down the J. Next thing was his shot fake. Now, what made his shot fake unguardable was it looked exactly like his shot. We talked about the little wrinkles that went into his fadeaway. We talked about him, getting his hips down, his feet set, and the ball up quickly. Well, look at his shot fake. It looked the exact same. So again, feet under, ball up, showing his elbow to get the defender to get off their feet, and then he just got the ball back on balance and then knocked down the J. So right here, exactly like, his fadeaway. What did we talk about? We talked about long lunge. We talked about getting hips underneath. So look, he can drop in his hips. Talked about getting his other foot set. Talked about getting on balance. Talked about getting the ball up quickly. They're the exact same. Then once those elbows went up, defender went up, he was able to get on balance and then knock down the J. And again, anytime that you had somebody that was able to elevate so quickly, you had to react by jumping. Otherwise, they were going to be able to just shoot over you. You can see MJ was so good at really showing the ball and showing his elbow that he got multiple defenders off the floor every time that he shot faked. So again, then he regained his balance and then knocked it down. Next move we're going to talk about is step backs. So, everybody has a good step back. MJ's was really good because he just hopped to kind of a good space. So right here you can see rotating defenders coming over. What does he do? He takes that long lunge, then he hops to a different angle, and then uses that mini fade to really knock down, the jump shot. So right here, again, defender cutting him off. What does he do? He plants off of that lunge foot, creates separation, and then just knocks down the J. So, he was already so good at elevating over players that if he created even more separation with a step back, it really made him unguardable. So right here, he's even with his defender. What does he do? Long lunge, gets the defender to drop. Then he keeps that ball protected. He uses that kind of lunge foot to load and explode. He gets on balance and then knocks it down. So again, a ton of different clips. You can see how loaded the defense was. Everybody knew that they had to help out on him. You can see right here a nail defender coming over and swiping. So what does he do? Instead of trying to force the drive, he was able to just use a step back to get on balance. Right here, again, long lunge. Boom, he uses a shot fake this time to get up and through. You'll see it again, same thing, using the shot fake. One of the things that made him so unguardable was you never knew if he was going to shoot or if he was going to shot fake. So you'll notice in most of the moves that I show you guys, you're going to see that he had the ability to knock down the J or had the ability to show a shot fake to get the defender off balance. Next one, cross steps. Cross steps have a ton of variety, but basically it's, again, a long lunge. If you're dribbling with your right hand, it's going to be a long lunge with your left foot. You see that long lunge right there. And I'm going to rewind this back because, again, I just want to show you guys the separation that he had. He has his back foot behind the kind of high school three-point line and almost at the NBA three-point line. And with one long lunge, look where it gets to. It gets all the way kind of down where the kind of free throw semicircle is. And then what does he do? He uses kind of a pullback between the legs. Now, let me break down one or two nuances that are really going to show you what made this move so special. One was he knew that he was stopping and starting. The defender did not. Anytime you're on offense and you have the ball, one of the advantages you have is that you know when you're stopping and starting, the defender doesn't. When he starts to drive, the defender thinks he's going all the way to the basket. Maybe the defense, that was behind, maybe the back layer defenders weren't communicating, so he didn't know he had help down there. The other thing that Michael Jordan did, besides kind of really loading, you see how he loads on that front foot, so he really squats down and gets his butt down, is he always kept his shoulders behind his knees. Right there, that allowed him to really stop his momentum. The defender continued to slide. Then he was able to get on balance. And right here, you can see 3 contests, but he uses that little mini fadeaway to knock it down. Here, he uses kind of the cross step in a different way. So this time, he uses a cross step, the same kind of exact teaching points. Long lunge right there, gets the defender to slide to cut him off. You see right there, he trips him up. But then he uses an anchor step to get downhill. So right here, step 1 would be a long lunge. Step 2 would be anchor step. You see that back foot anchors down. Then he uses a quick change of direction to beat his defender in the opposite way. Again, same thing right here. You can see long lunge, defender over slides, anchor step, and then between the legs so he can attack the opposite way and get to the basket. Here, he uses an anchor step to trip up the defender. You see the defender ends up on the floor. Just a simple stop and start. But again, defender reacts by over sliding, which gave MJ the option to change directions. Again, right here, you can see another big nuance. He was also playing kind of hand games with the defenders. So you can see he was trying to swim and kind of swipe. If he didn't get that swipe, what did he do? He just loaded up on that cross step right there, anchor step down, that's step 2, and then step 3, he changed directions and got to an advantageous spot on the floor where he could knock down the J. So again, you can see a ton of variations of cross steps into mini fadeaways, but that's what made him so unguardable, is you never knew if he was attacking downhill and trying to put somebody on a poster, or if he was going to stop and start or step back and use kind of a cross step to gain an advantage. Again, you can see a ton of different cross steps into jump shots. Here everybody knows about the pullback in this game, but a lot of people don't realize he was using the cross step right there, cross step into a little hop fade. Then we've got the same foot step back. Same foot step back is just like a cross step, but this time, if you're dribbling with your right hand, you're going to lunge your right foot forward. So right here, he's dribbling with his right. Again, long lunge with the right. You can see how long that lunge is. Really long lunge. And again, once he lunges, you can see he gets that shoulder backwards. I always talk about chest up, chin up so you can maintain your balance. Then what does the defender do? Over slides, so exact same thing. Defender big time over slides. He gets on balance and knocks down the J. So you need to make sure ball and foot on the same side, hit, bang, ball and foot. Defender reacts by over sliding. They think you're continuing to go, and then you get on balance and then just knock down the J. So MJ was so good at, again, always being on balance. You can see he's always dropping his hips, punching the ball, and then making sure that that front foot had all the weight on it so that, the defender kept going, but he was able to kind of stop his momentum. And again, right there, look at defenders on skates at all time. All that he did was he just turned that shoulder, ball and foot hit, and again, defender overreacts. Michael was able to get on balance and knock it down. He also had counter moves. Again, always was able to counter everything. Same foot stop right here. Didn't create enough separation to get on balance to knock down the J. So used a crossover to get to a better spot where he could knock down the J. Right here, this is just unbelievable separation. I'm going to rewind this one back real quick so you guys can see this one. But again, watch this right here. Long lunge. Defender goes flying. Look how much separation. And then MJ was able just to take a crossover to the nail and knock down the J. Now, he also had a spin move. Everyone knew about his mid-range kind of, half spin, fadeaway, and full spin, fadeaway in the mid-post, but he used it in the mid-range a ton as well. What made him so good with the spin move was he was always on balance and he was always on his toes. So right here you can see when he's spinning, he's on his toes so he can really get around. So you always want to be either on your heel, kind of where you can roll, or on your toe. You never want to be on your full foot because your full foot won't allow you to open up your foot and then open up your hips. And you've got to get around. MJ was able to be on his toes and on the kind of, ball of his foot so he was able to really get around, get on balance, and then knock down the J. Right here you can see long lunge again. You can see he's low, but then he uses his elbow to really get around. So watch his elbow. His elbow uses that kind of a pocket dribble, what I call a pocket dribble, where you get that elbow around so that you can really get on balance. And then again, he always got squared up, whether it was squaring in the air or pre-squaring where he got his foot all the way around. Again, defender on the ground from a simple mid-range move, but he was so good at just maintaining balance. Right here, again, on balance. And you can see one other nuance, one little micro skill that I love on spin moves is getting low. So right here, he got really low. So you see that load up on the spin. That load up is going to allow you to elevate over your defender because your defender's still sliding to react to your spin move thinking that you're going to blow by. So he got down and under, was able to elevate over to the defender to knock it down. Again, old school MJ still had it in his bag. Anytime the defender cuts you off, you've got to have a way to change directions. MJ had so many, but the spin move was one of those ones that was really hard to stop because you had to fully cut him off to even have a chance. And if you did, and you thought that you were going to be able to recover and make a play on the ball, what did he do? As always, use a shot fake to keep the defender off balance. Now, he also had a half spin. Again, every move has a counter move, and every counter move has the shot fake. Right here, you can see how aggressive he was on the half spin. So again, he uses his shoulders to sell the fake. He uses his elbows to sell the fake. Look at this right here. Big, long push out. Defender reacts, gets on balance, and then knocks down the J. You can also see right here, he was able to kind of shoot from so many different kind of shot pockets. So right here, he picks it up, outside hip, keeps the ball protected. Defender has one last chance. Anytime you're shooting a spin move or a half spin, they're going to have one last swipe to get a hand on the ball and deflect it. He was able to shoot from outside hip, straight to his shot pocket, square in the air, and then knock it down over two defenders. So again, that's what made him so elite, is little things like protecting the ball and taking a breath. So right here, you see him take a half breath to change speeds. Those little things make and break moves, and MJ was so good at mastering them. Again, just change his speeds. Right here, you'll see him even in the air kind of adjust to a secondary shot blocker on the side. Look at him hang in the air and shoots a kind of a low shot instead of a high shot, so he couldn't get a shot blocked. Just so unstoppable, so unguardable, and had the ability to always maintain balance. So you can see how he always gets around. Doesn't matter if the defender fouls him. Right here, he has to recline at a different angle. Was just really good at kind of figuring out where he needed to separate to get a shot off. Another thing that he did, which is something that not many players in the NBA can do, is when he shot fadeaways and he was off balance. So right now you can see he does not get his left foot around. So most of the time he gets his left foot past his right foot so that his hips are opened up pre-jump. Right here, since he doesn't do that, he actually uses his left foot to kick out to get on balance. So right there, this is very, very elite. Not many players in the NBA can do this. Jumps up, gets on balance by using his left leg kick. He didn't just do it once, he did it all the time. So you can see left leg kicking so he can get his hips square to the rim and then knock down the J. Right here, he uses a dribble just to add a little kind of wrinkle. And then as always, I got to show you the shot fake, keeping defenders off balance by using the shot fake, getting them up, and then again, on balance or drawing the foul. So again, he was just so elite because he was so hard to guard because you never knew what was coming. You never knew if he was going to spin or half spin. You never knew if he was going to same foot stop or same foot stop into a crossover. You never knew if he was going to go into a step back or a cross step. You notice that every move has a counter move, and he has the ability to shoot or shot fake off of every move and counter. Then he had the pullback crossover. I saved this one for last because I remember as a kid going down the driveway and practicing the pullback crossover that he did in the Jazz, but he did it throughout his career. Right here you can see he uses a pullback to get downhill, but right here there's one different wrinkle that I want you to see that's really important. He always decelerates. So right there, as we talked about with the cross step, as we talked about with the same foot stop, he decelerates on that foot. The defender overslides, and as the defender overslides, he just pulls to an open space and then knocks it down. Right here again, you can see shoulders behind the knees, his hips are down, he pulls the ball over with the low crossover. Now look at the defender. The defender reacts by sliding and drop stepping towards the rim. He doesn't get a good pickup, so you can see MJ right here. He loses the ball a little bit. Because he doesn't get a good pickup, instead of shooting a bad shot, he just takes a dribble where he can regain his pickup and then knocks down the shot over two defenders. Right here, the most iconic one. I know a lot of you guys are thinking push off, but look at all the other little nuances. First one, look how low he is. Second one, look how much he sells a drive with a downhill lunge. Third, look how he decelerates. Notice he gets that foot down. Defender really is oversliding. Fourth thing, you can see he keeps his shoulders, even though they're low, he keeps them back so that he has the ability to push off of that load foot. And then look at the defender. He's down. He has no chance. MJ gets on balance and makes one of the most iconic shots, something that I practiced over and over in my driveway throughout my childhood. So I know that a lot of you guys remember the iconic moments like the pullback, but hopefully now you appreciate all of the moves that he used in the mid-range game to become unstoppable in that area.